And there we are. We are live. Another edition of TigerBait Live brought to you by Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. Got a big show tonight. Obviously, people are still picking up the pieces from what happened in College Station Saturday night, but in reality, it's been days past trying to turn the page and looking forward to see what can happen in Atlanta this Saturday. LSU playing for an SEC championship. Georgia, of course, number one ranked, a heavy favorite, and LSU's going to need a Herculean task to try and pull this one off. We can talk about that. We can talk some recruiting, some men's and women's basketball. We can do it all tonight, and we'll let you guys drive the show. But I'm bringing my cohort, Buddy Songy. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Good to see you, Michael. As always, you're looking trim, even though we all ate a bunch of turkey. And obviously, we hope that everybody out there had a great Thanksgiving. Look, it was crazy, man. I'm driving around fooling with turkeys, as you know, on Wednesday. And this place was crazy. I love Baton Rouge. I, of course, don't like a lot of the things that's going on now in the city. But, man, it is Podunk, Louisiana, the day before a holiday. An hour. If you would have lived in Lafayette, taking you an hour to get over the bridge. That all being said, I think we all ate a little bit too much turkey. Tigers looked like they were a half-step turkey slow. But this is an early Christmas present. Who in the heck would have said, Mike, LSU would go to the SEC championship game to play Georgia in year one? And I got a theory about why everybody's so upset. But as always, great to be here.
Absolutely. And as Dane Bergeron's posting in the chat, we were running late tonight. Trying to get everything dialed in, and but we're going to go tonight. So,
sorry, Snake.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. Henry Bennett, hey Mike, is a running back from Mangum on LSU's radar? He's having a monster season. No, I'm not hearing anything in regards to him, and nor have I seen him. So, but you know, LSU's got two running back commits from the state of Louisiana, high school kids. And I do believe that there's going to be a third probably in the portal, a guy with some experience because they need to rebuild the whole room. So we'll see. Tune in to Your View Friday night. If you guys are a subscriber to TigerBait, you know that I've talked about the God dog it, St. Martin's Episcopal.
Yeah.
He's going to be on. They're going to be on.
Harlan Berry.
Okay. Yeah, Harlan Berry from St. Martin's Episcopal. They're playing Vermilion Catholic. That's their game of the week, so you'll get a chance to see him. And Harlan's fantastic. Great kid, and I think LSU's very much in great shape with him. But that'll be the Yearview player the game of the week. So I'm giving them a plug.
I thought you were going to say you were going to be on TV, so I'll watch that. But
no, I actually considered driving out to Abbeville area to watch that game. That's Jacques Doucet's neck of the woods. In fact, isn't that where he went? But yeah, I was going to go. I thought about driving out there to see that one. But
hey, I'll just say one other tidbit with the high school. Man, I'm excited about Shelton Sampson. Look, we talk about Brian Thomas Jr., and we got to see him get more involved. But Shelton Sampson, I think the frame, if the light goes on for him, you're talking about a guy that could be really good before the end of his freshman year, Mike.
Absolutely. Rick Kelly, hey, Mike, Tulane's coach was named Coach of the Year for the AAC. Do you think Brian Kelly will win SEC Coach of the Year? Love the show. I don't know. I think had they beat Texas A&M, he probably would have been a much bigger argument. Still think it goes to Heupel?
I think
Kirby
Smart might win it. Look, defending national champion, any coach will tell you it is tough to get those guys to buy in. Most of them go in the first round of the draft. I think Georgia lost, 15, maybe one more than LSU did in 19 with 14. 5 big first round and top choices on defense. So I got to give Kirby a plug. Heupel, once you lose Hendon Hooker, but certainly those three guys in the mix. Hey, look at what Carolina did. I mean, Beamer had a heck of a year.
Dykes was named Big 12 Coach of the Year, I saw earlier today.
Yeah, and I think Sonny Dykes will probably end up being the National Coach of the Year.
Nurse Court gives us a hey, guys. Bart Smokey, who do you see opting out of our bowl, whichever one we go to? Well, thanks to the loss to Texas A&M, and if things go as Vegas says and LSU loses again this weekend, you're getting knocked down to a much lesser bowl, and then you have the higher likelihood of having opt-outs, and that's the part of it that makes you sick. And then when that starts happening, I don't even care to watch the game. Last year's Texas Bowl, when you have that many opt-outs and that kind of stuff's happening, of course, that was a whole different animal in itself. But I don't find any enjoyment in seeing that if you're going to have a wholesale opt-outs, and that's not really your team that's out there representing. They're wearing the gear, but that's not, and that's also, if you're constantly in that bowl realm and you got guys opting out, that's a good way for your bowl winning record to really take a hit. That's how
Look, we talk about alignment, and I know Brian Kelly used that term a lot, and that word a lot. But he also, on Monday, Mike, said the culture is still not totally fixed. And obviously, I know people would certainly surmise that Booty, seeing that he's not getting enough balls each weekend, would probably consider it. Hopefully, B.J. Ojolari and Jaqueline Roy and those guys that are going to be leaving, they'll consider. But, hey, in this day and age, you can't blame them. You saw what happened with the Ole Miss quarterback.
Barry Barbier with a good showing against Georgia. If not Sugar, then the Tigers could be in the cotton. I thought it was going to end up being citrus.
Yeah, we heard citrus. If Michigan polarizes Purdue and Georgia has their way with LSU, probably citrus against Purdue, what I was hearing.
Yep. And if you don't show up for that one, they can beat you.
Yeah.
Look, I just said it, Al Basilla. What about the running back from St. Martin Episcopal? Yeah, but he's a class of 25. You can watch him on Cox 4, Your View, Friday night. Critter Getter, hey guys, it's been a fantastic football season. So what bowl else you go to? There you go. We already talked about that one. Rick Kelly says, nice Christmas tree. You like that, huh? $10 at Trader Joe's.
There you go.
That's what you call an impulse buy. Yeah, there you go, Al Basilla. He went to North Vermilion. Is that a come down? Is that giving him giving him more credit by saying he went to Vermilion Catholic, or is North Vermilion higher prestige?
What, Jacques?
Yeah.
Okay.
What y'all think about Mickey Joseph? Holy cow. We have seen this in the past. If you guys didn't see it, he was arrested. It's all over Twitter. That can prevent you from being out of coaching for a long time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that kind of situation evolved into that, and obviously we don't know the particulars, but it's not a good look.
No.
For anybody. So, by the way, Mike, real quick, Nurse Court came in. That was one of the real highlights for me this year, doing the show on Wednesdays, and interacting and meeting so many great fans like Nurse Court and Kristen and Danny Girl and all the other females that have joined in. I mean, look, you got to realize that Brian Kelly has brought LSU football back to where people give a damn about it. If they didn't care anymore, and you had a 5-5 year with the COVID year, then you go 6-7. The first time in 20 years, LSU didn't have a break even, or winning season. And then you have this year, you get to the SEC championship after you beat Alabama, and everybody's rolling, but lo and behold, it's because people care again, Mike. And that was 2 years of hell after 19. So, look, you like the Jeffersons. You're moving on up, and I think LSU fans have got to be excited, although if you know about Georgia and number one, LSU's only defeated 2 number 1 teams in its history.
Huey Lipsy with a super chat. Thank you, Huey. My coach is for Coach Brian Kelly for Coach of the Year, Ashes to Riches.
Yeah, first to worst.
I put a poll.
Worst to first.
I put a new poll up on the front page of TigerBait.com earlier today, and it's starting to get really just kind of new, so it doesn't have a whole lot of votes yet. But it was Brian Kelly's first regular season at LSU. A, met my expectations. B, exceeded my expectations. And C, underwhelmed. And the results are so far 86% exceeded my expectations, 10% met, and only 3% said underwhelmed.
Well, those 3%
I'd like to know who the 3% are.
Well, I mean, they're probably Coach O fans that are hanging over and did that. And Shock was telling me his daddy, telling me today, I'm having him on tomorrow, but he said, my dad loved Coach O. And they had a great relationship. And
I got a cousin who's still mad.
so, but I mean, seriously, I know, I give PFM a shout out. He predicted 9-3. I didn't remember that. But he also had the A&M game as a loss. So that was a hell of a prediction. But seriously, if you were 9-3 and 10-2 and Scarborough talked to you in the summer and you said that, he'd say, "Okay, Homer."
Oh yeah,
right?
No,
right?
Yeah, I think 9-3 and 10-2. You were absolutely a homer.
Yeah, you were drinking the purple and gold Kool-Aid.
And but they did it, man.
The other thing I'll add is that if somebody told you they're going to go down in 3, but they're going to lose to A&M, but beat Alabama and make it to the SEC championship game in year 1, I think you got to accept that. Versus losing Alabama, beating A&M last weekend, and you're still.
How many times did I say that I think the A&M game will be the difference between whether LSU 7-5 or 8-4?
Sure, we all did,
and
except for PFM.
It's
a good job.
It was a difference between 10-2 and 9-3. And with a win over Alabama, which that win over Alabama is worth how many for you?
Yeah.
How many wins is that worth to the LSU fan base?
Well, and the LSU brand is once again going to be in the lights. Now, hey, if you have hearing aids or plugs and your buds, put them in, because Gary Danielson's going to give everybody a case of the screaming red ass about 3:25.
Man, I wasn't even thinking.
5:30.
I wasn't even thinking about him.
Oh, jeez.
So now we wonder what kind of shape is LSU in? What's the injury situation? Josh Williams, is he 100%? What about the receiving corps? They've been banged up. How is Brian Thomas at 100%? Bernard Converse, missing him last week was huge. Where's he at now? And, of course, Jayden Daniels. And that's looking iffy from what I'm hearing, guys. I don't know.
Well, he's been in the boot.
He's been in the boot.
Everybody knows that. Look, it's one thing to be in the boot, Mike, but you're getting
I'm not
ready.
hearing anything, guys, as far as him actually practicing so far this week.
Well, but I'm just going to say, you got to remember now, it's one thing to be able to play. Now, it's not a high ankle sprain, but when you got these 325-pound guys chasing after you, his mobility would certainly be limited. Look, we saw how tough he was to go back in after the first injury. But right now, like Mike says, I think we're going to have to wait and see. And you know what? It would be interesting because we posed the question, does Nussmeier get the start and you bring Walker in? How do you go about that? So this could be a different offense, and I think those receivers might enjoy a little bit of a change to see a more passing down the field quarterback, if that has to be the case.
Absolutely. And look, over the season, and particularly early in the season, and we were all getting after Kayshawn and his body language, and how many shows did we do on that kind of stuff? But he's not the only receiver. Probably Malik Neighbors might be the only one that's not in that disgruntled camp. But I think as a group, they want some passes thrown their way. I think every receiver in that room is looking at their numbers at the end of the regular season, and it's not anywhere where they dreamed it would be. So.
Well, especially with touchdown catches, and that goes to show you they hadn't been throwing the ball down the field enough. And, Mike, look, Jayden Daniels has some stats. He has thrown a touchdown pass in a game and run a touchdown in a game for 6 games, and nobody ever did that before, including Burrow and Herb Tyler, who had 5 before. So, but on the other hand, man, if he hands off to John Emery, and Emery gets the first down and scores, what happens? Old Mo is on LSU side. They might win that game. Who knows? On the other hand, they beat Florida and Auburn on the road a couple times. They had a couple road wins, not even throwing the ball for 100 yards. So there's a lot of work in progress. You and I disagree. I think he's coming back. You think he's going pro. But it's going to be interesting to follow this quarterback situation in the next few months.
It very much is. And then what do you do if, let's say, your scenario is right and he does come back? How does Brian Kelly handle the quarterback competition in the spring?
It's open.
He throws it wide open.
Yeah. Because I know Brian Kelly would hate to admit this, but the way Walker Howard is projected, if he gets big and strong and matures like we think he's going to be, you're going to have one hell of a running quarterback, and you're going to have one hell of a passing quarterback. Of course, Walker doesn't have the experience. This would be year 5 for Jayden Daniels. But I think you got to, because if you tell everybody Jayden Daniels is a starter, you can't start. Are you paid $100 million to play the best players and try to win? You got to play the best players. Competition makes you better.
Right, but then you also let's go a little bit further. I know you and I get testy just about every year over some position, but they're only one injury away from starting. Why would they leave? Right? I don't know how many players we've got into it about that.
Sure.
All right. Well, as slight a build as Jayden Daniels is, he is durable, isn't he?
He's tough.
So I don't know that you can sell that to a number 2 or a 3 quarterback. And then also, how can you sell how often that you actually saw the number 2 and the number 3 quarterback, even in games that are supposed to be blowouts?
Well, there's one other part of the equation. As we saw with the Michigan quarterback, the transfer portal opens next Monday. They are undefeated, and he says, frick it, I'm going in the portal. Obviously, he was not happy, but the point of it is that throw out all those equations and the fact that everybody knows there's no patience with these young guys. They want to play right away, and if they don't play, they look at the portal.
Absolutely. Thanks for that super chat, Huey. Big time. All right, let me scroll up and get some more of these. Nurse Court says, had a great season. 8 games of fun times, less fun at Florida State and Tennessee, obviously. Blake Ruffino giving me a laugh online about the Christmas tree. Just trying to be a little festive, man. Did I pull it out a week early?
Blake is getting famous. Did I see Reese Davis and him going back and forth? I don't know if that was me having bad eyesight or not, but Reese has officially changed his name to Richard.
Yeah.
What a dick.
I stay away from Twitter. I punch and get out. Chance Babbitt, Mike, I know high school recruiting is your thing. How hard is it to follow portal recruiting? Is extremely difficult because it's going to be bang, bang. Kids get in the portal, and most of them pretty much know where they're going before they even put their name in the portal. And a lot of these guys, the recruiting process and doing interviews with guys like me and websites, it don't matter. They went through that in high school. They've been sitting down for interviews at college. They could care less about doing an interview about being in the portal and what schools they're looking at and all that. I think for the most part, it's like it's a quick transaction. Now, there might be some kids who get in the portal and they linger a little while, but that depends on who they are and how good they are and, who needs them. And but, what's the turnover going to be like? What percentage of next year's roster is different from this past year?
Yeah, that's a hard
question. Is it 25? Is it a 30 number percent? I mean, the numbers could get really, really crazy.
But you know what else is crazy?
In some places.
What's a portal NIL deal worth a freshman NIL deal? Look, you get a guy, and there's a running back at Notre Dame that's got some Louisiana ties. If he wanted to come back to Baton Rouge and play at LSU, I'd welcome him. You know who I'm talking about. But where do you ascertain what is a fair NIL deal versus with this high school guy that you're trying to satisfy? I mean, this is a crazy time right now. Brian Kelly said there's 3 balls up in the air starting Monday.
Here's the thing. Kelly can say, I believe in, using the portal for needs that we need immediate help and there's no time to waste. But I think his hand's going to be pushed. I mean, you can want that all you want, but you're going to have a lot of college coaches out there and seeing what we're seeing at Auburn right now and boosters giving a pot of money and saying, go build a dream team. Here's a pot of gold.
Well, that was A&M last year.
Yeah.
And of course, they lost 6 straight games until last Saturday
Yeah,
night.
but that was also with high school kids.
Yeah.
can you get crazy and go after some really pie in the sky kids who are multi-year starters at other colleges?
Well, USC paid $2 million for their quarterback, Caleb Williams, and paid $3 million for Addison, the kid from Pitt, who was a Bolitnikoff winner the year before. Miami is buying everything with John Ruiz, and we know that Ole Miss and Kiffin did a great job in the portal. But what I was saying is, how do you try and come up with, okay, this guy's interested, but somebody else offers him more cash? I mean, this is a tough little thing to juggle right now with college football.
And I think there's going to be a lot of people that really get disillusioned with college football if they're not already.
Yeah.
Let me scroll down. I got a super chat. American Patriot, let's go. Walker Howard, strap it up. Dane Bergeron with the super chat. Jayden Daniels is going to have to throw the ball downfield. Georgia will do to him what LSU did to Manziel. Georgia's DBs are not good in coverage, but they tackle well. Thank you, Dane. Thank you, American Patriot, for those super chats. Big time. And Kindercamp with a super chat. Seems everyone has been hit by the portal. How many current LSU players do you project could enter the portal over the next few weeks? Yeah, I don't want to. I really don't have an idea of how many.
I don't have a clue. And I think Brian Kelly has said after they get back from Atlanta, there will be exit interviews, and you say, hey, are you coming back? Do you want to go to another place? Well, this is what we foresee you in the next couple years. And look, it is a very fluid situation throughout the whole team and the program. So, like Miles Frazier, I mean, how much did they have to get him over here? You know, he's the only offensive lineman that started every game this year. And that was a great pickup. Tremont Schwartz, who we thought was going to be a player and start in the offensive line, hardly played. You just never know, Mike.
Right. It's guys, if you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button. Very much appreciative. You guys have been awesome doing that for us each week and helping us with the YouTube algorithm big time. So, and also please share the show to your Facebook, Twitter, any LSU groups you're a part of. Text it out to your other LSU buddies. Much appreciative that you guys helping us grow our audience. We're on our way to 17,000 subscribers in a hurry, and it's all due to you guys spreading the word and tuning in each week. Thanks for that super chat, Kindercamp, and thanks to all of you that have done super chats tonight. Let me scroll up and get some more of these. Von Bluesman, Bryce Young was listed as the highest paid player for this year at $3.2 million.
Yeah,
But how many guys can you do that for?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
You know, we've talked about it. We did it on Buddy's show today. You know, let's say Jayden Daniels is a 4th or 5th round guy, and that money's $600,000 to $800,000. Can LSU match with an NIL deal? Well, if you do that for him, what do you do for Harold Perkins? What do you do for Will Campbell and Emory Jones and your other stars? You know, how much can you do that?
And Brian Kelly wants to make sure, and I agree with him, that the main talk in the locker room is not NIL and how much money you're getting. And so that is the problem to juggle, folks.
Man, I love my Christmas tree. You guys clowning me with that. Dane's calling it a Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Well, hey, look.
I like my $9 tree. And all the carbs that I bought in the same basket. Mick McGrath, there has to be a way for teams to value players. And there's also, in reverse, the players, valuing their college experience and the environment and everything that goes with the college education. But in this day and age, that's a tough sell, especially when you've got people out there offering that could be offering obscene money to play college football.
By the way, I haven't updated this, Mike, but the Rose Bowl once again was becoming a thorn in the side of everybody. I thought I read that there was going to be a deadline sometime today or tomorrow, and they want, obviously, they've got their protocol that they don't want to change. But, man, they're trying to get this thing to 12 for 24, and if they can't get straightened out, it'll go back to 26. That's a lot of change. That's a lot of billions of dollars. And so we'll see what happens there. And, of course, 3 weeks from tonight, Mike, you will be going through, can you believe it, 3 weeks from tonight, National Signing Date. How many of you projecting high schoolers, and when do you start thinking transfer portal guys?
Well, at 23 now with the 2D commitments, and I mean, what are we tracking? Maybe a half a dozen, 7 or 8 high school kids. And of that, maybe 3 or 4, I think, end up at LSU that I think LSU's in pretty good shape with. So that probably puts them, 27, 28. We'll see.
And probably another 6 or 7 portal guys, I think.
Yeah. But I think the number total was like up to maybe 32, 33.
Yeah,
but that's not knowing what you're going to lose.
Well, exactly. That's before knowing what attrition they're going to have.
Keith Pico, Walker Howard is nowhere near as fast as Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels is faster than Walker Howard, but Walker Howard is a legit 4.6. I think, but a lot has been made of Jayden Daniels running the 21-mile-an-hour deal. Walker does 20.
Yeah. Well, 21 mile. Look, I believe this. Walker Howard is going to be a great quarterback. Somebody reminded me this, though.
But it's also the wiggle that Jayden has.
Oh, but no, when he turns it up, he covers 10 yards faster than any LSU quarterback ever. But if we go back, when Jamie was thrown into the deep end of the swimming pool and had the scar from the craziness of Lynn Amity and the Auburn loss, there's a lot of people saying, man, don't want the same thing to happen. This is going to be interesting to see if Jayden Daniels cannot go or if he's 80%. I'm sure Brian Kelly will answer those questions. But I also think he's probably going to keep it under wraps because from a competitive standpoint, you don't want Georgia to have any idea.
I got that one already, didn't I, Dane? Let me scroll down. Mick McGrath, Joe Burrow isn't as fast as JD. So what? What about
Joe Burrow's not as fast as
what about the
Daniels.
Bengals all of a sudden?
Oh, yeah, but Joe Burrow's not as fast as Jayden Daniels. I'm sorry.
Dane Bergeron, we need to have a TigerBait party for National Signing Day. Yeah, those days are gone, man. The recruiting bashes and but I do want to get to have a TigerBait get together somehow soon. Maybe meet at Superior or somewhere like that, and us all get together. Due to Rick's 12, giving up near 300-yard rushing means LSU did not prepare for Texas A&M and was preparing for Georgia. Mike, do you think teams don't prepare for lesser opponents when the following game is a bigger game? I don't think that's the case. Look, there's a lot of things that coaches will say, and some of it goes in one ear and out the other. But I think Brian Kelly knew that that was a dangerous game at A&M, and HN was fantastic. And that scoop and score was a momentum killer that LSU couldn't overcome. And look, not having 100% Josh Williams.
Bernard Converse
was the biggie. And, yeah.
Look, everybody had a bad too much turkey. Didn't have a great offensive game plan.
Defensive front seven.
Didn't have a defensive. They were getting pushed 4 yards down. How many 3rd and 1s? They had like 7 3rd and 1s in the first half. You don't have to be that great of a play caller when you 3rd and 1 every time.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I'm scrolling down. Charlie Brown tree is a compliment. Remember how nice it looked after all the kids dressed it up? Yeah. All right, guys, I'm scrolling down here. Sorry, but you're a moron if you don't want Daniels to come back, Cortland Jacobs says. What I've been getting a kick out of, Cortland, is the guys that want to run down Jayden to explain why he needs to come back. Like they go, to say he's not this and he's not that. Well, then why do you want him back for another year if he's as bad as you say he is and he's not going to be an NFL player or highly drafted? But There was something, and I need to go find it, but I was told ESPN did a draft report.
Yeah.
And he was 4 out of 9 quarterbacks?
No, he's number 8. I saw it tonight. He was number 8.
8 out of how many?
8 out of 9 or something.
Okay.
But look, I just want to interject here real quick. He's going to get a draft grade. He has not thrown a touchdown pass in his last 2 SEC games, and he's had 3 turnovers. So I ask a simple question. What kind of difference was Joe Burrow in 18 versus 19? I know that there were guys that grew up in 19, Chase and Jefferson and all those guys, but my point is that I think he would be appreciably better with another year. Is he going to ever throw it like Joe Burrow? No. But my point is that I think he's coming back. I think he wants to come back. They'll get him an NIL deal, probably already did, just like Harold Perkins. But that's going to be a family decision, and we'll move forward. But, Mike, the last 2 games.
Is there a cost scenario to what it could cost LSU beyond an NIL deal for him to come back as to what it might do to receivers that want to hit the portal because they don't like their numbers this year and ain't going to like them next year? I mean, do you have those kind of problems? And then you maybe lose a quarterback or 2 to the portal.
Well, but that's why I say you don't guarantee him the starting job. You say, look, we're going to open it up, and if you win it again, you win it again, like I was alluding to. Jayden Daniels and Walker Howard would be an incredible combo. It's hard to play 2 quarterbacks and buy into it. But, man, if you had Walker Howard, you can tell when Jayden Daniels is off and he's holding on to it for 4 or 5 seconds. That's when you bring in Walker Howard if he's the man.
Absolutely.
But we'll see.
Kinder Camp, exactly what happened with the Edgerrin Cooper recruitment and Tackett Curtis. I'm hearing the family wasn't interested in summer camps. What happened? Edgerrin Cooper, LSU offered really late. And then I also wondered after the offer how much LSU really pursued him. It almost seemed like the offer came and it was half-baked. I don't know how much they really pursued him even after the offer was extended, which was entirely late. I think at that point A&M had already sealed the deal and done a good job, and maybe Edgerrin was a little upset about how LSU handled it. But Tackett Curtis didn't want to go to camp, didn't want to compete, didn't want to go up against his peers at camps, and that's just how it was. And
well, people ask this question.
And you guys that have watched the show know that I'm always leery of kids that will do that.
Well,
and I'm not saying he was afraid of competition. Maybe somebody was advising him not to go, that he didn't need to, and that his tape should speak for itself. I can see all those scenarios. But there's been multiple times in the last 10 to 15 years, Hootie Jones, that guys didn't want to go to participate in camps, and it proved as to why. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Tackett, but I also do think Tackett is more of a throwback linebacker and probably is at the right school for his talent.
So many people opined, bring in all these malcontents from Texas A&M. Folks, get it in your pipe and smoke it. Brian Kelly is looking at character, locker room presence, maturity, the whole experience before whether you're a 4 or 5 star. If you've been arrested at Texas A&M, you're not going to get a look-see. So I don't know how many they'd even entertain taking on that. But
Edgerrin Cooper would be a guy you'd love to come home.
As long as he's a good guy and he fits in with the scope of the team.
But he's a guy that's like been a spokesperson.
Yeah.
I mean, they roll him out for interviews almost every week.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening.
Sure.
But what about Jacoby Matthews?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any of those Louisiana kids homesick?
Yep.
Well, there you go. Guys, we're here each and every week thanks to Pride Roofing, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez, and let's go ahead and hear from those guys.
Hi, I'm Michael.
I'm Alex.
At Pride Roofing, we handle commercial and residential work.
TPO, shingle, and metal inventory.
We got it. Property still in disarray from the recent hurricanes and hailstorms. Insurance claims?
No problem. But Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Call 855-PRIDE-16. Se habla español.
There you go, Mike and Alex. Give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16. Commercial or residential roofs anywhere from Vinton, Louisiana, all the way to the Gulf Coast of Alabama, north to Jackson, Mississippi, north to Alexandria. They've got entire South Louisiana covered. Of course, based in Albany, right there on Florida Boulevard. Go by and say hello. And if you say you saw them on TigerBait with your free roof inspection, they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium for 1 year, and they're going to run that promo forever. So give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16.
Residential, commercial, and metal roofs. Once again, the acquisition of Crown Metals has changed the roofing business. Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez saw them for Thanksgiving. They want to thank each and every one of you out there for giving them a shot. That's what we asked, folks. We talked about this season. We said, you're probably going to have great pride at LSU. You'd have great pride if you do business with them. Jorge Martinez once again opened up the Baton Rouge office on Government Street, 275-2041. And the roof over your head is just as important, if not more so, than the roof over theirs. Big community partners. Couldn't do it without those guys. And obviously the official roofing sponsor of TigerBait.com and Buddy Sports Talk.
Absolutely. Got one here, American Patriot with a super chat. Another one, thank you, American Patriot. I watched every game of Walker Howard's junior and senior year. He is the real deal. He played with a broken leg. Him and Besh scored so many touchdowns. Absolutely. Neville does a fantastic job. Of course, if you're a subscriber to TigerBait, you know how much I filmed Walker all the way from the 9th grade. You can see his film there. But the Neville STM game, his senior year, when he really didn't have much of an offensive line, but they went up to Neville and won up there. That game is on YouTube because Neville has their own YouTube channel. They do a fantastic job at Neville High School. Go back and pull that one up on the Neville High School channel. That was an awesome game. And I think Will and Walker, I think they still razz each other about that one.
Well, I got to ask you. You know, most quarterbacks will tell us through the interview session during the years, Mike, they're going to lose 3 to 5 pounds a year being in the mix. And Jayden Daniels, I bet you, isn't 200 pounds right now. He's probably 194, 195. That being said, what are you hearing about Walker, and do you think he would be ready if Daniels couldn't go and Nuss and Walker had to play? Do you think he's physically, mentally, and psychologically ready to play in Atlanta Saturday afternoon?
Oh, there's no doubt. If you told Walker Howard you're going in and playing against Alabama, you're going to play against Georgia in the SEC championship, he wouldn't bat an eye. He'd fall for it.
Physically, where you think he's at?
I still would like to see him 5 to 10 pounds heavier. 10 pounds.
And that'll happen in the offseason.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'd like to see Jayden Daniels heavier.
Sure.
Of course,
Walker can play. He's only played in one game, and he can play and not lose the red shirt. Quincy Wiggins and Derek Davis Jr. and others have been cut because they don't want to play him in another game. They'll lose the red shirt. Yeah,
absolutely. And I liked the little bit I saw of Derek Davis.
I do too. Coach Kelly said should have moved him there earlier.
All right, guys, I'm going to scroll down here.
Just in case you don't know this, folks, LSU 5-1 in the SEC championship game, 3-1 against Georgia, and 2-0 against Tennessee. Mike.
Yeah, I got. In fact, let me pull it up real quick. I got something I wanted to read y'all that I got today. Where is it at? It's some statistics on the current sales for the third-party tickets for the SEC championship game. Ticket prices are skyrocketing. According to TickPicks, the second most expensive SEC championship game on record.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Hell, inflation has hit the SEC championship game. Everything's 20% more, Mike. So
it's 26% less than last year's, which was the most expensive.
Okay.
But the average purchase price of a third-party ticket right now is $607. But the demand is being driven by Bulldogs fans. 51% of all purchases are coming from Georgia, and only 11% are coming from Louisiana.
Yeah.
In the the fun fact that we got here is the biggest purchase made was for 3 tickets in Section 108C at $2,238 a ticket, $6,714 total.
Which I think is why it is imperative LSU starts fast. Look, we had this question today on the show after you left. If LSU wins the toss, take the football or defer? I say defer.
It depends on who the quarterback is.
Well,
But I do like to defer.
I like to defer. And you got to play better on defense, man. You got to be more aggressive. Matt House, we love you, but you've had a tendency to be a little off the line of scrimmage and a little less aggressive. I'm hoping they play this game with both game plans, Mike, aggressive. Put the tape in about the way LSU played defense against Alabama. That's what I want to see. You remember that first half, first 3 quarters? Held Bama to 9 points, 6 at halftime. That's what people want to see.
Absolutely. Let's see. I'm scrolling down here. Nurse Court, I'm hoping for best to shake off this whole season.
I thought he was going to be the third down guy. You know, Malik Neighbors we thought was going to be the punt returner, but he looks bigger, Mike. What do you think Jack needs to do to get more in the mix of it? Just get more targets?
Yeah, but I don't think any of his gripes are any different than any of the other receivers right now. Like I was saying earlier, you know, Butte was getting all the heat early in the season, and but I think that the you know, other than Malik Neighbors, you know, what wide receiver is really happy right now? You know, I was just kind of, you know, seeing who the balls were going to last weekend. I'm like, you know, why is that guy in there instead of Jeray Jenkins? Some of the stuff just didn't make a lick of sense to me.
Everybody had too much turkey. And look, if you agree with Coach Kelly going for 2, when you're down 15 points, you and I just drink a different coffee from Community Coffee. I like the fact that he's been aggressive, and we know one of the greatest 2-point plays ever happened a month ago. Can you believe it? Alabama a month ago this Saturday. That being said, I didn't understand the logic of going for 2. If you kick the PAT, you're at 14. Jeray Jenkins gets the call, you're at 7. You miss the PAT, you're at 15, which means you've got to convert one of the next 2 touchdowns just to have a tie. Didn't understand the logic on that. I don't want to hear all that analytics BS.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
coached by feel, man, not that little chart.
Guys, I want to talk about one of our new sponsors on TigerBait Live, and that's Alumni Hall. TigerBait fans, Alumni Hall is your ultimate LSU Tiger shopping experience, and we're going to make your holiday shopping easy for you. You can get Tiger apparels for the whole family, hats, Yeti, drinkware, tailgating gear, gifts, and more from Alumni Hall. And to thank you for your subscription, use the code TBFORM at Alumni Hall in Perkins Row or alumnihall.com for 20% off your entire purchase. You know, you guys know right where they're at, and they've got a fantastic store right there in Perkins Row. And if you're an LSU fan, you can knock out all your Christmas shopping there. A beautiful store, easy to get in and out of. And if there's an LSU product, they've got it. And they have all your SEC championship gear, too, if you're wanting some of that. And if LSU does something monumental, you got to believe they're going to have SEC championship gear early next week if LSU shocks the college football world. Let's see here. Swamp Cat says, I think you forgot what an offense should look like. We need some luck and good fortune on Saturday. Good fortune and a miracle on Saturday, says Barry Barbier. And look, there's no doubt LSU's going to have to play error-free football. They're probably going to need some gifts from Georgia. And we're going to see what happens with Jayden Daniels. That's going to be very interesting.
Well, that was my point about being aggressive with Matt House. Look, I had my phone blowing up, and I don't answer to talk during the game because I'm so involved and invested. But, man, I got people across the country watching Harold Perkins saying, this son of a gun, as a true freshman, is impacting the momentum of the game as his first year playing against Alabama. Now, the difference, obviously, Saturday is that you're going to have pretty much a home game for Georgia. So you got to start fast. But you don't force turnovers and takeaways unless you're making that kid, who was a walk-on, I think he's 26-3 as a starter, throw it before he wants to. You got to hit hard enough to force some fumbles, got to catch some INTs, got to be protective. And obviously, I just think if LSU coaches go in there and say, look, we're going to be aggressive and give it a shot, they got a better chance than playing vanilla. And, oh, by the way, Denbrock, where's Mason Taylor been since the Alabama game? Seriously, he had 3 targets for two catches. We mentioned this on the show today. We thought that they love tight ends. Go back to Mason Taylor. He's really good.
Well, and that's a part of Jayden Daniels not being as effective throwing the football. Has not been accurate, and he's I don't know, has he regressed some? I don't know.
But throw it quicker, throw it shorter, dink and dunk.
Yep. Palermo Trapani, LSU is 5-12 versus Little Nicky Saban. Jayden Daniels' play at quarterback was key to LSU getting that W. Without Jayden Daniels, LSU's 9-3 turns to 6-6 in my view, and I agree with you. I think LSU would. Without Jayden Daniels, absolutely 6-6.
And no doubt about it, he's going to be the offensive MVP at the banquet at the end of the year, and well-deserved. Look, nobody is kicking Jayden Daniels, but the problem you have is that the level he slung it with so much confidence and making everybody happy, Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, and then you go back to Arkansas and Texas A&M. It's pretty much like what color mood ring is he going to have, and is he going to sling it? And if he doesn't, that's when Denbrock's got to go quick and short stuff.
Absolutely. Looks like we got a spammer in here. He's now gone. Trucking with Casper arrives in. Says, I'm late tonight with a super chat. He says, but great show tonight. I'm scared to watch this game this weekend, but oh well, go Tigers. Yeah, just got to know what the injury situation is. I think that can make the difference. If LSU was healthy across all the positions, I'd say LSU covers. If not, it could get out of hand. And I'm not buying anybody saying that Georgia's, already in and they have no incentive. No, they have incentive. They didn't win the SEC championship last year. So an SEC championship means something.
Look, LSU kicked their ass the last 2 times they played. Kirby is 0-2, and he has to go to sleep at night knowing that was 0-2 against Coach O. Now, God bless Coach O for what he gave to the Tiger fan base in 19. But Joe Burrow, his signature run in 18, 36-16. Georgia came in here very cocky. And then I think it could have been worse than 37 to 10 or whatever in 19. So they are going to want to pile it on. And Kirby wants to make a statement because Michigan is right there, and you want to play one. But here's the thing. What do you think of the CFP? I think what the teams want to do now is probably play TCU over USC. That is assuming all 4 teams that are in the top 4 right now win this weekend.
Absolutely. Okay, that's my last absolutely, I promise. How many have I said tonight? I'm getting as bad as Preston with his no doubts. Thanks for the super chat, Casper. 256 Moxley, I think we lose by 21. Hope it doesn't impact recruiting much. I don't think whatever the score might be has anything to do with any of that. But you don't want to get on that stage and really lay a big egg. You don't want anything to be embarrassing. So, look, I think this LSU football team, regardless of who's out there, is going to give everything they've got. Nurse Court, this team played from behind many times this season. Saturday was bound to happen. I mean, it's just how it goes. Yeah, what Texas A&M did not surprise me. It did not surprise me at all. I knew they were going to play their best, if not their best game of the year.
Well, they were one play away from beating Alabama.
And their quarterback has a bright future, man. He's going to be really good.
And they burned a red shirt on him to play him.
Yep. Look, almost did it. Dane Bergeron, Jayden Daniels is a baller. He is and should be the starter, but he cannot find open receivers downfield. Yeah, it's as effective as he is, his ineffective affects an entire position group.
I'm just going to ask you to go to 2018 and pull up the stats for Joe Burrow. And trust me, it's night and day on percentage completion percentage in year 1 and 2. Plus this staff. That's the first time Brian Kelly and most of those guys have ever been to Texas A&M. You cannot learn the SEC in 1 year. Folks, this is an early frickin' Christmas present, 9-3, and playing in the SEC. And you worried about recruiting in this game? Are you kidding me? They've got every reason to be the hot team again, just like you alluded to, 3 years ago?
Yep. It's that time of night, guys. I want to talk about Tony Freeman. If you're thinking of buying a home, refinance your current mortgage, but haven't found a lender you can trust, let me tell you about Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial here in Baton Rouge. Dear friend of mine and someone that many of my friends have used for their mortgage needs repeatedly. Her knowledge and over 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry is unsurpassed. She offers a wide range of knowledge of home loan products, whether you're a first-time home buyer, ready to buy a new home, or you just want to explore your refinance options. Tony can guide you through your next mortgage experience. You can feel confident you're making the best financial decision with Tony as your guide. Not only is Tony a huge LSU fan, but Assurance Financial is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Call Tony today at 225-239-7150. Again, that's 225-239-7150, and tell her you heard about her right here on TigerBait.com. NMLS number 104765, Equal Housing Opportunity 70876, and she's the best in the business, and give her a call. She's licensed in many states. She will get you closed on time and chase down all that paperwork you need.
Really classy lady, consummate professional, and you will feel very comfortable because you will see she knows what she's doing.
Absolutely. James says we cannot forget the hire that Orgeron made with bringing the new offensive coordinator that helped Joe Burrow out. Okay, it looks like I'm running into a debate that some of y'all are having in the chat. Nurse Court, Aggies did what every team is supposed to do. Pains me to say it. Yeah, what about me? Every week I've enjoyed kicking the Aggies while they were down and having fun with them. Especially after predicting all offseason that they were highly overrated, and then they do what they did to LSU.
But it's the worst thing that could have happened to the A&M fan base because now they're telling me, Mike, they're going to have the exit interview, and Jimbo's going to say, see, boys, I told you we a young football team. You saw us kick their butts. We got a great future. We got a young football team. We got a great recruiting class. He's going to do all that. And what did we hear? Everybody wanted to say. Now, they did fire the offensive coordinator, Daryl Dickey, who was just
Scapegoat.
Yeah, a scapegoat. But interesting to see if Jimbo's still calling plays next year.
Palermo Trapani, I keep hearing people saying that all these wide receivers are open downfield, but from listening to some of the guys who watch all 22, that was not true. LSU's wide receivers were not getting separation versus the Aggies.
Not as much. There were some times, obviously, but they had good coverage. And let's be honest, Booty has not looked as good before he was injured. I don't know.
I think what they've got a problem with, and this is something that Hankton's got to do, you've got wide receivers that maybe are not going 100% on their routes because they have no confidence in Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they're just running downfield for nothing.
Yeah, well.
And that's a problem.
There's no doubt. But once again, a 9-3 in year one, that's a pretty good season. Beating Alabama, pretty good season. Getting the SEC championship game, year one, pretty good season. So it's not all bad.
Yeah, there. A lot of you guys are comparing Jayden Daniels to 2018 Joe Burrow.
I'm just telling you about the stats.
Yeah, but some of them are doing that in the chat. Not just. It's not just you.
Yeah.
But yeah. And this is another good point about that. Daniels is now a 4-year starter. Burrow was a first-year starter in 18.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Oh, look, I think, Mike, I'm never going to live to see, and I don't know how many years the good Lord's got me having here to go, but I don't think I'll ever see in my lifetime another Joe Burrow. Will you?
No, what were we saying that whole year that, and when it was over?
I'm talking about 19 years.
Oh yeah, but it was like what were we saying? It was like if you're a 12-year-old in 2019, you're going to go your whole lifetime, and you're never. I'm with confidence I can say you're never going to see anything like that again.
And then everybody talks about the greatest team. Do you see what Jets, Jefferson, and Chase are doing, and then Burrow? Now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire got hurt lately, so he hadn't been playing as much, but that was a hell of a team, man.
And so now the Bengals started the season 0-2, and look what's happening. Look what they did beating Tennessee without Nixon and Chase.
Very, very
and
nice.
So people are starting to say, uh-oh, here come the Bengals.
Yep.
And
Fun to watch, too.
And like a lot of folks in South Louisiana, a lot of Louisiana and LSU fans have adopted the Bengals as either their team or their second favorite team. Just don't get your who dats and your who days confused. Chance Babin, do you think Matt House lost the Broyles Award last week? Probably so.
Yeah, I do.
Probably so.
Not that, look, there were going to be, I think, 4 or 5 at the end. He was going to be in there, but I do think that probably.
He still has done a fantastic job.
He's done fantastic.
If you really go line by line and player by player and be real honest about the personnel that's playing and how they made a go of it, he like everybody else on the staff have really done a fantastic job. So
I think he's owed 1.9 for 2 more years. Do you bump him or keep him at 1.9?
I think you do whatever it takes to hold on to him.
Yeah.
And I still, maybe you know this answer. What is the average salary for a defensive coordinator in the NFL? Would his current salary be middle of the pack or top third?
I don't know. I don't know, but
it seems to me he came from the NFL back down to college for a reason.
Yeah.
He prefers the college game. So the only thing that you got to worry about with him, I don't think you're ever going to lose him for salary, because if someone came in and offered him 2.5 to be a DC somewhere else in college, LSU would match it or beat it. Now, would he get a head coach opportunity? That's the one you would be, because you win, and we'll see.
Reese Davis, of course, had to say that LSU's defense got housed. But I'll just say this: if Mama ain't happy, nobody in the house is happy. And I hear that that family loves Baton Rouge and Southern hospitality. Can you imagine going to a place the first year and seeing that Alabama game and all the things with the tailgate and all the culture? So I think that he ought to stay at least a couple more years for Harold Perkins' development.
5-pack. Mike, your thoughts on the Auburn hire? I like it. I don't know how much better they could have done. Now let's see what they do. He's got to, obviously, we're getting all the reports about the NIL pot of money he's got to spend, and so, but I think it's a good hire for them.
Made him turn in his black books, so he can't have that kind of fun anymore on a rainy day.
Where they say it's no longer burner phones, it's Barner phones.
Look, I think. Once again, look at the SEC West coaches. We talked about it today. Man, there's not a slouch in the group.
No, it's gotten that much tougher.
Yeah.
And of course, they look at him and say he's the guy that beat Nick twice.
Yeah.
And but I think the good debate is, who's the better coach, him or Kiffin? But like you said, the entire West, I mean, it's really something where you're saying that probably the coach that, if you were to rank him, that Leach is the bottom. because Leach is a good coach.
Probably Pittman after him. You know, I mean, Sam's a great guy and all, but, I mean, Arkansas fans are kind of disappointed with their year this year.
Yeah.
By the way, Hugh Freeze has beaten Nick Saban twice. Lane Kiffin has beaten Nick Saban twice on Twitter.
The West definitely has better coaches than the East, and the East isn't bad either. Man, how happy are they in South Carolina right now with their hire?
Jeez, Beamer had a great year. And Vanderbilt finally broke the streak of not winning a conference game for 20-something games. So, look, folks, Mark Stoops is fighting Calipari because he wants Kentucky football to be more viable and a bigger part of the conference experience. This SEC, this is why you have to give Brian Kelly a lot of credit to jump into the swimming pool of the SEC and the SEC West. And I know everybody could say, well, for $100 million, but he comes here to beat this competition and win a natty, and we're going to follow it.
So then you get that, and then you got Texas and Oklahoma coming in a couple of years. And so you can see why anybody who was maybe on the fence about expanding the playoffs is all for it now.
And that's why SEC recruiting is so good across the board.
Yep. Trucking with Casper says, don't remind me of the Bengals game last week. I'm a Titans fan, and it was not fun. No reason we should have lost that game. Thanks for the super chat again, Trucking. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, please hit that like button, share it. Enjoyed all you guys communicating with us tonight. And, man, that hour went by pretty darn quick. Go to TigerBait and subscribe. We really want to have you as a premium subscriber. I had a big recruiting interview tonight, a little bit off the beaten path for us, but I got that coming your way the next day or two. We're reaching out to all the prospects, but it sure looks like the guys that are left on the board for LSU are a bunch of guys who don't do a lot of interviews or they've gone underground. So, but we are, after this weekend, it's going to get really crazy, and it's I think a whole lot of media are going to be in a posture of punch drunk and reactionary because the news and the transactions and the portal, that news is going to be coming fast and furious, and we're going to be covering all for you right here on TigerBait. So thanks to Buddy for joining tonight. Thanks to you guys tuning in, and I'll see you on the TigerBait Premium message board, and we'll be here post-game Saturday evening. Good night, guys.